What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video here on the Racing Games channel. Today, as you can probably tell by the title, we're going to be taking a look at the console release of Slipstream. Just before we get into it, I do want to clarify that due to some technical difficulties, the footage you're seeing here was recorded on the PC version of the game, although the review is written by Martin, who played the game for the first time on console. Okay, let's get into it. As racing games become more realistic, there's a growing demand for simple, easy to pick up and play arcade races. Thankfully, indie developers are responding to the demand, resulting in a new wave of retro-inspired racing games. Inspired by 16-bit racers like Top Gear and Lotus Turbo Challenge, Horizon Chase Turbo is one of the most popular retro indie races. Slipstream is another attempt at reviving a classic arcade racer for modern audiences. After a successful Kickstarter campaign, Slipstream drifted onto Steam in 2018. Now, this retro-inspired indie racer has been ported to PS4, Xbox One and Nintendo Switch, bringing the game to a wider audience. Slipstream is heavily inspired by Outrun. This is most obvious in the main Grand Tour mode, which sees you passing checkpoints and weaving through traffic in exotic locations, from beaches and cities to forests and deserts. With branching paths, changing scenery in each stage and rivals that taunt you, it perfectly captures the essence of Outrun. All that's missing is a fake Ferrari and a thrill-seeking girlfriend in the passenger seat. Speaking of vehicles, Slipstream's car selection is limited to only 5 models. However, each feels unique, with different acceleration, handling and top speed. Money earned in races can be used to increase performance and improve handling, but the limited customization options don't make a noticeable difference on the track. There are no licensed cars, though this didn't stop Sega from using a Ferrari Testarossa in the original Outrun. Most designs are inspired by iconic Japanese models such as the Honda NSX, Toyota AE86 and Nissan 300ZX, the hero car of the Chase HQ sequel Special Chase Investigation. Fans of 1990s pop culture will also spot references to Sonic the Hedgehog and Initial D. Slipstream is more than a mere Outrun clone, however. As the name suggests, Slipstream features a Slipstream speed boost system. Closely following a traffic car or rival for a few seconds lights up letters spelling the word Slipstream. Once every letter is lit up, you automatically get a massive speed boost. Manga-style speed lines create a thrilling sense of speed, but Slipstreams are tricky to time. Mistiming a Slipstream and hitting other cars loses you a lot of speed. Additional game modes outside of the Outrun-style Grand Tour add variety. Grand Prix mode is a traditional championship mode with 3 cups containing 5 races. Cannonball, on the other hand, lets you customize an event with options to disable traffic and add up to 5 stages, while Battle Royale is a grueling test of survival and endurance. Featuring 15 stages and 15 opponents, the last racer is eliminated after each stage in Battle Royale. Slipstream's colourful pixel art style sets it apart from other retro-inspired races. As vibrant scenery rushes past at a silky smooth 60 FPS, Slipstream looks, plays and sounds like a Sega sprite scaling game, transporting you back to the golden age of arcade racers. This is thanks to Slipstream's impressive custom game engine created by Ansdor, the game's sole developer. Before the rise of 3D polygonal graphics, developers used sprite scaling techniques to create a pseudo 3D effect in games like Outrun. Other racing games have tried to recreate this visual style, but none pull it off as convincingly as Slipstream does. You can even apply CRT and pixel filters for a more authentic look. Taking 4 years to develop, a lot of passion was clearly poured into this project. Combined with an original synthwave soundtrack, Slipstream recaptures the aesthetic and atmosphere of old-school arcade races perfectly. But is Slipstream all style and no substance? Thankfully, no. Reminiscent of Outrun 2 and Ridge Racer, drifting in Slipstream feels fantastic, allowing you to navigate tight turns at high speed. Letting go of the accelerator, tapping the brake and reapplying the throttle executes a drift, and you can also steer to adjust the angle. Holding a drift while narrowly avoiding traffic and trackside scenery is satisfying and exhilarating. It takes time to master, but you soon develop a satisfying zen-like flow. A less welcome aspect of retro arcade racers replicated in Slipstream is the steep difficulty. This is a brutally hard game that requires a lot of skill and practice to master. Make slight contact with the scenery at high speed and you'll cast somersaults in the air before crash landing, costing you precious time in Grand Tour mode. There's no AI rubber banding in Grand Prix races either, making it almost impossible to catch up with opponents if you crash, even on the easiest difficulty setting. There's no room for error here. A single mistake will cost you the race. Rewinds, which let you rewind up to 5 seconds and reset to correct mistakes, help reduce the difficulty, but they need to recharge, so you can't always rely on them. Slipstream rewards players who put in the time to practice, but lowering the difficulty on the easiest setting in future updates would make the game more accessible to new players. The developers' limited resources also show. With no extra cars to unlock, only 3 Grand Prix Cups to complete and no online multiplayer, Slipstream's replay value is limited despite the variety of game modes. Don't expect an extended campaign to keep you engaged like in Horizon Chase Turbo for example. But considering Slipstream's cheap asking price, it's $7.99 on Steam, and one-man development team, these shortcomings are more than forgivable. Split-screen multiplayer for up to 4 players also makes up for the lack of online multiplayer. The steep difficulty can be frustrating, but Slipstream is a stylish homage to old-school arcade races with slick presentation, a superb soundtrack, and satisfying drifting. If you love retro arcade races and crave a challenge, you won't regret taking Slipstream for a spin. Here at Racing Games, we've given the game a 7 out of 10. So that's all. What do you make of what we've said? Do you agree? Have you had a chance to jump into Slipstream yet? And if so, what did you make of it? Let us know down in the comments below. I've been Toby for Racing Games. That review was written by Martin, and we'll catch you again here on the Racing Games channel for another video soon.